We're going to change the script a little bit now and look at some changes that have come to our transformation APIs and different enhancements that we've had to some of those. So we've kind of been looking at media library updates and improvements thus far. So let's look at what's happening on the more API and developer focused sides of the product. The first thing that we're going to look at is a pan and zoom effect that's part of our image to video API. So this is really designed to give you kind of that Ken's burn effect, where when you have a high resolution asset, you can actually code this particular transformation to use specific pan to and pan from transformations to be very specific about where you want to kind of zoom in and highlight. So this would be a good use case if you are trying to make something like a slideshow content from our transformation APIs, or build out video when you don't really have a lot of shot video in your asset collection that you can use. This would be very useful if you do happen to have high resolution assets for your products or for whatever else your images happen to be used for, to add kind of an additional style, particularly if you're working with a high resolution image where you've got fine details inside the image that you want to highlight. You can kind of see that as this map zooms out, that you really lose some of the finer detailed points that you can see with a little bit more clarity when we're zoomed in. So if you were doing something like a product promotion based splash video, this might be a good opportunity to do like a pan and zoom over a particular outfit that a model is wearing, to really highlight kind of the details of a few different images or potentially products that they were wearing inside of that particular piece of photography. It's also worth mentioning that this is something that can be combined with other Cloudinary transformations as well. And there's really no limit except your imagination with what you can do with that. So if you want to use Cloudinary's layering techniques to create kind of a more complex image where you've maybe got some special offering tied into the image, and then chain a transformation to actually use this pan and zoom effect to kind of pan over that particular image, you can use that to kind of enhance the overall bang for your buck that you get with these as well. So we're not going to be looking at this transformation in kind of full scope today because it is pretty complex in terms of what you can accomplish, particularly when you look at like our example on the bottom, which is actually the transformation that was used to generate this sample image. Here you can see in the green, we're actually giving specific from and to locations and denoting kind of a position on the X and Y axis where we want the zoom to begin and the zoom to end, as well as the zoom level that would be used at each stage of that transformation. Other transformations that are kind of basic, or I should say transformation parameters that are kind of basic, are the DU, which stands for the duration of the generated video. So depending on this would have a great deal of control over kind of how quickly that pan and scroll effect works over the image. And then you can also adjust the frames per second of the generated video if you want to kind of tweak the content quality of the pan and zoom, to get different quality levels from the resulting video that you've created. I do want to point out that this slide will actually link you to the full documentation of this feature as well. So if you want to dig into any of the syntax details for kind of controlling the finer details of this transformation, that would be a good place to turn. There are also several other examples that you can view in this as well to see different ways that we kind of use this to produce some examples as well, and kind of look at those transformations as a way to start and kind of get your ideas cooking for this as well. The other thing I want to mention is that you can actually generate these, so that create video API that this is kind of a subset of can actually be used to generate both video-based content in sort of its true form. So if you wanted to produce like an MP4, that you have like a play button for, and kind of produce a full-fledged video. You can do it that way. However, you can also use it to produce content for things like animated GIFs as well. So if you want to create something more similar to this example that we're looking at here in this slide, you can use that to create something that's kind of a looped start and stop through the image. So it just kind of runs on repeat like this without a end break for the particular video.